Well, welcome to the 700 Club, and thanks for joining us. The strong bond between Israel and America is on display today in Washington. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu makes his second visit to the Oval Office since President Trump's inauguration.
Well, talks will include U.S. tariffs on Israel and increased military cooperation in the Middle East, with a clear emphasis on Iran's nuclear threat. CBN's Chris Mitchell reports.
On Sunday, Netanyahu met with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to discuss the 17% tariff the U.S. placed on Israel. He addressed those tariffs as he left for the U.S. after a 4-day state visit to Hungary.
And I can tell you that I'm the first international leader, the first foreign leader to meet with President Trump on an issue that is so important to the Israeli economy.
On Monday, Netanyahu plans to meet with President Trump in the Oval Office, followed by public statements and a joint press conference. At the top of the agenda, Iran. President Trump called it the obvious subject.
There's a lot of things going on with the Middle East right now that have to be silenced.
Netanyahu also put the regime in Tehran on the agenda. Iran's nuclear threat is growing as it steps up its production of enriched uranium. The IAEA says it's just a short step away from having enough weapons-grade material for 5 or 6 nuclear weapons. The concern over Iran intensified when Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz revealed intercepted Hamas internal documents that link Iran to the October 7 terror attacks launched by Hamas. Katz says the documents found in a Hamas tunnel prove Iran financed Hamas's plan to annihilate Israel. The terror group's slain former leaders, Yahya Sinwar and Mohammed Deif, asked a top Iranian military commander for $500 million. As Katz put it, this is definitive proof of Iran's support for Hamas's plan to destroy Israel and for the October 7th massacre. Under the heading, The Destruction of Israel, the letter appealed for the money to uproot this deformed entity, Israel, and meet in a liberated Jerusalem. Also, in a show of military coordination, the U.S. has quietly transferred another THAAD missile battery to Israel, one of its most advanced air defense systems. American officials say the move is intended to protect against a possible retaliatory strike from Iran if the U.S. and Israel decide to target Iran's nuclear facilities directly. The White House meeting comes at a critical moment, with both nations weighing the risks of confronting Iran and the cost of inaction. Netanyahu's visit could shape the next steps in the region, diplomatically, militarily, and even prophetically.
Well, CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell joins us now. Chris, the U.S. is building up its arsenal in the Middle East. How is the region reacting to the potential of a U.S.-Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear facilities?
Well, Gordon, I say they're bracing for what could happen. The Arab Gulf states, publicly, they're calling for restraint. Quietly, they're supporting a strike against Iran. Iran, for its measure, is threatening any countries that are going to support a U.S.-Israeli strike. The Iran state media is warning of a harsh response. But the question is, Gordon, do they have the capability? They tried twice last year, but they both failed. Here in Israel, there's very little or no trust in Iran's negotiations. They had negotiated with the JCPOA. They violated those agreements. Iran's still committed to destroy Israel, committed to its nuclear program. Over here, Gordon, they see it not just as strategic necessity, but as a moral imperative, and they call it an atomic Auschwitz just 1,000 miles away. And that's why many people are saying this is a very important time to be praying for this meeting, to make sure that Trump and Netanyahu are on the same page during this time. It has regional, global, even prophetic consequences.
Well, as you pointed out, Iranian retaliations against Israel, they tried twice, and both were remarkable failures. But let me ask the other side. If the U.S. and Israel join together with bombing the nuclear sites, will that actually be effective? Will it really work to stop the program?
Well, a lot of people have been asking that question for many years, Gordon. Many people believe they can at least degrade or set back the program many years. It's all spread throughout Iran. That's on purpose because Iran knew that what happened in 1981 and 2007 when Israel took out the Syrian and the Iraqi nuclear reactors, that basically stopped the program. But they're also buried deep underground. It is a question whether or not they can happen. But I think many people believe with the U.S. firepower going on Diego Garcia with B-2, B-52 bombers, they can really put a dent in Iran's nuclear facilities and maybe even threaten the regime itself.
Well, I think that's the goal. If we can change the government of Iran and stop this murderous theocracy that wants to destroy Israel, I think that needs to be the ultimate goal. I don't think the Iranian people have it in for Israel, but certainly their government does. Let's change to another hotspot, and that's Turkey, and it seems to be taking Syrian territory. What risk is that to the region and specifically to Israel?
Well, Israel, Gordon, it's a major security threat. Gideon Sar, the foreign minister, says Turkey's really trying to make Syria a protectorate. They may sign a defense pact with the new Syrian government, Turkey that is, and try to fill the vacuum inside Syria. Turkey's looking to establish a military presence in some of the air bases. That's why Israel's been attacking those bases. So basically, it would be opening up a front on Israel's border. And right now, Turkish President Erdogan is making pretty provocative statements, calling for the destruction of the, quote, Zionist entity. He's a major supporter of Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood. Perhaps this may be part of the talks between Netanyahu and Trump today.
Is Erdogan, we've sort of ignored him, but is he on a mission to restore the Ottoman Empire? I mean, is he looking for Turkey to once again take Syria and Lebanon?
I think that's exactly what he's after, Gordon. He's actually not only after perhaps Lebanon and Syria, but Jerusalem. They believe the Ottoman Empire once had controlled this. He wants Jerusalem back. I think that's his ultimate goal, to become the new sultan, the new head of the Sunni caliphate. So I think this is all part of his attempts to take over, fill the vacuum in Syria, be the sort of the protectorate of this new Islamist government. And but ultimately, Gordon, I think he's coming right here to Jerusalem if he can. All
right. Well, let's turn to Gaza. Israel now is controlling about 50% of the territory. What's the meaning of this strategy, and is this a long-term strategy?
Well, how long-term, we don't know, but right now it's designed to weaken Hamas, shrink their territory, put pressure on Hamas to free the hostages, also protect the communities around Gaza, and also what they're doing is creating new military quarters and corridors and dividing Gaza into multiple security zones. This helps the military. They're actually separating Rafah on the Egyptian border with Khan Yunis. One of the keys, Gordon, will be the possibility if Gazans are going to be able to leave Gaza itself. That would weaken dramatically Hamas and also remove these Gazans that Hamas is using as human shields. But certainly a different policy right now in Gaza, and it seems to be having an effect.
Well, any Gazan that wants to leave, in my opinion, should be given a quick exit. Who would want to stay in that war zone? And if they want to leave, they ought to be able to. Well, Chris, thanks so much for your insight, and we'll continue to pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Amen.